I am going to call the Willows Planning Commission meeting for December 2nd, 2025. To order, please. Would you stand for our Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of to the Republic and one nation, God, full liberty, justice for all. Thank you. Roll call.
Chair Brott, absent. Vice Chair Corum,
Present.
Commissioner Ocampo. Present. Oh, your mic's not on, maybe? Oh, there you go. Present. Thank you. Commissioner Nygaard is absent. Commissioner McNeil.
Present.
Thank you.
Would it be appropriate and okay if we had Mr. McNeil give us a little history about himself?
That is totally fine with me if he's good with that. Yep.
If he would like, would you like to give a little bio about yourself?
Sure. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, my name is Mike McNeil. I've lived in Willows about 3 years now, and I really like our city, and I like the buildings that we have, and I think there's a lot of things I think are important to maintain, and there's a lot of things I think are important to improve. I kind of got into city planning when I was in college. In grad school, actually, I interned for the city of Sacramento's planning division in their historic preservation office. So we were primarily focused on those buildings that were 50 years or older that might have historic value. And I think it's important to note that there's a difference between having an old building in your town and then having then just to keep it around just because it's old, but also by having an old building that means something and to keep around because it's important for the community and it builds community. So I think it's important to note the difference that we can't really save everything, but it's important to be deliberate about what we're doing and really know our culture and our history of our town before you make any major decisions. So I learned a lot about that. I learned a lot of some buildings are just old and they can be torn down. So that's how I kind of got my foot in the door with that. And then kind of at the state level, I did something similar at the Office of Historic Preservation, which is actually a division of state parks. And we reviewed buildings all throughout the state, 50 years or older, to see if they had historic value for the National Register of Historic Places. So similar idea, just on a wider scale and a bigger geographic area. So I've always loved history. I was a history major in college. I went to Chico State. So really familiar with the local history around here. And yeah, just really, that's just another reason I just wanted to be more involved in the community because I've grown up here and been a part of it.
Well, thank you for that and welcome to our Planning Commission. I'm an old building. They keep me around, so there's hope. Okay, any changes to the agenda, please?
There are none.
Okay, none? Okay, public comment and consent agenda. All items on the consent calendar are considered routine and may be approved with a single vote unless removed for separate discussion by the chair and commissioners. Individuals wishing to speak on consent items or matters not on the agenda are asked to complete a speaker card and submit it to the city clerk. All remarks shall be directed to the chair and commissioners and are limited to 3 minutes. By law, the commissioners cannot discuss or take actions on items not listed or posted on the agenda. The only item that we have on the consent calendar that I see are the minutes approval. Approve the amended minutes of July 17, 2024 Planning Commission meeting and the minutes of the October 7, 2025 Planning Commission meeting. Is there anyone who would like to speak to the consent agenda? My question before we get a motion is, what was changed? I couldn't tell because the changes were in the minutes, so I had no idea what was changed.
Good evening, Joe Betancourt, Community Development Services Director. So what was changed on this was the item for the conditional, or sorry, let me find it here. The item number 7A, retail dispensary cannabis business zoning review. What was not included in that was that that action, we had the action correct, but we did not have who motioned and seconded and the A's and
Okay.
nays on that. So that was added to that to reflect the action that was taken.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, we need a motion and a second for our consent calendar, please.
I move.
Sorry, go.
I move to approve the item.
I second that.
Okay, the motion has been made and seconded for our consent calendar. All commissioners, please vote either yay or nay if you're for it. Let's go. Yay. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And since it's unanimous for the three of us, there are no nays. Next is a public hearing. All matters in this section of the agenda are formal public hearings and will be acted on individually. Individuals wishing to speak on these items are asked to complete a speaker card and submit it to the city clerk. Comments should be directed to the chair and commissioners and are limited to 3 minutes. If you have any documentation that you would like distributed to the council, please give it to the city clerk for distribution. And item A is the Willows Travel Plaza Design Review, file number 25-05, and lot merger, file number 25-01 at 1481 South Tehama. Joe.
Good evening again, commissioners. Joe Betancourt, Community Development Services. I just want to say that we are excited to have this project come to South Willows. For a long time, Orland has kind of been the place of the commercial fueling stations where we had our hotels. And I also want to give credit to the architect and engineers for this project for providing information in a very quick turnaround time and being very responsive for this. So we appreciate their proactive measures and just excited to have this potential project come before you. And with that, I will pass it off to Amy Rossig, and she will go through the design review and lot line merger item for you.
It is 6:08 and I open the public hearing.
All right. Good evening, commissioners. My name is Amy Rossig, the city planner with Harrison Associates. Next slide, please.
Shouldn't he close that? He opens it for comment. Could close it. Comment.
Yeah, it gets opened after staff.
Should he- Do it. We would have it open.
Open the public hearing, and then I thought it was
Visually open it.
after the presentation.
I think you can open it for public hearing because it is a public hearing
Hearing,
item.
I think we open it and run
But
through
for-
the piece and then close it.
And then we'll
go to
take
action.
public comment.
Go for it.
All right. We'll keep rolling. All right. So just to give you a little bit of the lay of the land, the project site is located on the east side of Highway 5. Okay. Now we're good. Okay.
Another time.
No, we're good. Okay. All right. And here's an aerial of the project site. As you can see, the entire site is disturbed either by pavement or development of the gas station or with gravel. Next slide, please. Just to give you a photograph of what the current conditions are of the project site. The site's developed with a convenience store and 12-pump gas station. There's a pylon sign located to the left of this picture of from the convenience store, and then there's also a fuel sign to the right. Next slide, please. So this entitlement request is two parts. The first is a lot merger to merge 6 parcels into 2. The first parcel would be 1.46 acres in size, and the second parcel would be 6.15 acres in size. Next slide, please. The second part of this entitlement is a request for design review for the construction of the convenience store expansion, new fueling pumps, and a truck service area. The project site is split zoned as highway commercial and general commercial light manufacturing plan development. In both the highway commercial and the base zoning of general commercial, automobile service stations are permitted use. So that's why we're going to be talking about just the design review this evening. So I want to walk you through the different components of the design review and the development project. On the screen is an excerpt of the northern part of the project site. This construction would include the expansion of the convenience store, which is that large red circle that you can, or large red square, excuse me, that you can see. And then to the north would be a RV fueling pump area. The next slide, please. This is more towards the middle of the project site. The parcel would have 9 fueling lanes for trucks and an above ground enclosure with 2 alternative fueling canopies located to the south of that above ground fueling station. Next slide, please. And then this is located just to the west. This is a truck service center with a office, a waiting area, 2 service pits, a truck washing area, and a truck scale. Next slide, please. So I want to go over just the elevations of each component. The image up on the screen is what the convenience store would be, would have an appearance. The existing building is a stucco building, so the plan is to continue the stucco siding. It would include pretty neutral modern colors of grays and browns. Next slide, please. And this is what the service center would look like. We have the east elevation, which is what you would see from Tehima Street, and then the north elevation, which is what you would see from the convenience store. Next slide, please. These are elevations of the fueling pumps, particularly like with the RV. It would be branded with the Chevron logos and painted in blue and white and gray color schemes. Next slide, please. And then this is what the truck fueling canopies would look like. This is what the south elevation would look like from the southern side of the property. Next slide, please. All right. This is the landscaping plan. As you can see, there's trees and shrubs along the entire perimeter of the project site. Any existing trees that are already planted would remain in place. Next slide, please. And then lastly is to signage. The applicant is proposing 3 new signs. That map on the screen is where the new signs with the yellow stars, that's where the new signs would be going. There would be 2 monument signs located on Tehima. Those would have the fuel pricing for the alternative fueling, diesel. And then there would be 1 sign located on the western part of the property. And this would be the pylon sign to be visible from the interstate. Next slide, please. And here are images of what those signs would look like. The pylon sign would be 80 feet in height. That would be located near the interstate. The maximum height limit in the zoning district is 80 feet. So it would be as tall as the maximum allowed. And then the monument signs are located on the left-hand side of the screen. Those would be about 11 feet tall. And they would have the fuel pricing as I stated earlier. All right. So with that, staff is recommending approval of the design review and the lot merger as it's consistent with the municipal code and the general plan. And I'm available for any questions, and I know the applicant team is also on the line as well.
I always have questions, but do you have any? Since you're new, we'll let you go first.
And none at the moment. No.
Okay, if you think of something, just let us know. And how about you?
No, I don't think I got any questions right now.
Okay. One of the things that I did not see, or if I did, I
Mhm.
didn't remember, or I looked over, approximately how many jobs is this going to create?
Oh, that's a good question. That wasn't included in your staff report. Um,
Yeah,
Good answer.
we don't have that information. I don't know if Kurt's on the line, if he'd be able to speak to that or have any information on it, but we do not at this time.
Because that has something to do with the goals of the of the city council, doesn't it?
Yep, absolutely. Economic development. This would be tax generation with the expansion of the convenience store and the adding of there's a vacant spot to be rented out in the store with a drive-through window. So that would be a fast food restaurant most likely going in there. So you would expect in the truck service station on there. I don't know how many employees it would take, but you'd be looking at a brand new fast food facility. So 3 to 4 to 5 with the manager to employ those. And then the truck service station along with the truck wash. So it would be an expansion of jobs, but we don't have any numbers on the
Okay.
anticipated.
Well, I'm personally very happy to see this develop. It is set idle and undeveloped except for the current gas station that is there. And for a long time, I have thought we need a truck stop in our town. Um, will there be added fuel tanks and where will they go?
So there would be, are you talking, I'm sorry, about the kind of the tanks where the gasoline and fuel would be stored? Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, will they be above ground?
Yeah, they would be above ground. They're located in the middle of the property. There is going to be an enclosure around those fueling pumps.
Yeah. Now, is this property in a floodplain?
Don't believe that it is.
I don't think it is,
I
but
don't think it
it's a good question to always ask around here.
Yeah, they did put in. I don't know exactly on the floodplain, but they're in the plans. I think we've got conditions under the engineering department. There is a water retention basin that it will be currently on the preliminary plans installed, I believe, on the southwest corner. But I don't believe it's in a flood zone. But they do have a detention. Yeah.
Well, Lori, maybe you remember. I don't know if Road 57 down there has ever flooded or not.
I don't.
I can't remember, and I would presume the former Rumiano cheese with the uh, things that they built in terms of infrastructure for water, it is to get out of there quickly. But it's important. We don't want them to have to pay exorbitant flood insurance if all they had to do was raise some of that property. Let's see. My other question, in between the current uh, gas station and the old truck stop, there is a empty lot. That's not being utilized in this. They're building to the north. Is that correct?
They're building to the south.
Okay, building to the south.
Hmm.
Okay. So do you know if that empty lot is being used?
Yeah. So it would be all, well, as you can see up there, it would border right up to the edge of Swift Trucking to the fence line. So in that, we've got the South Court Drive as well as a part of this. We'll be going back to City Council as this project progresses to release that too.
Okay.
If approved, we would give that, relinquish that to them. We didn't want to bring that forward at this point as we wanted to get through these initial steps. And obviously, we've got to have some pretty concrete things happening in order to give that South Court up. But yeah, that map right there is the entirety of the footprint for the new construction. So basically all the way to the south bordering the Swift Trucking.
Yeah, and I also understood from the plans, there will be egress off of that cul-de-sac.
Yes. Yeah, to the south of that cul-de-sac.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I
So-
think that's very smart.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you just have the one entrance.
right. That will be utilized for like the RV area.
Yeah, okay. And they'll have adequate signage, I'm sure.
We've got, just to speak to that a little bit, Commissioner Quorum. So back to them being proactive, they did submit a traffic study. They've done a soils, a geological report, and had all those things kind of ready to go. So the traffic study, Amy, you can correct me if I'm wrong, has been sent to Caltrans, and they are currently reviewing that too. So, and that'll go through our engineer, and make sure and be vetted that the ingress, egress, and the flow of the traffic works. Now, with that said, Caltrans will potentially have comments as a relationship to that I-5 interchange right there. We don't know what those are at this point, but they are reviewing the traffic study and looking at those things. So that is another piece to the puzzle that Caltrans may have comments, fire things,
Yeah.
may not.
Just to continue, I add on a little bit more to that. So I did hear back from Caltrans during this process, and one of their biggest concerns is spillage back onto Interstate 5. So that's the main item that they're going to be reviewing, making sure that there is adequate ingress and egress off of Tehama into the
Okay.
project site, and that traffic doesn't back up onto the interstate.
Is it possible that you can find out the potential number of jobs and make sure this is not in a floodplain?
Absolutely.
I do have a question. So
Okay.
is this going to be a Chevron station or an extra mile?
So Chevron, I believe Chevron would be the station, and the Extra Mile is the brand of convenience store associated with the Chevron station.
So there's going to,
So the convenience store is the Extra Mile piece of it. And I don't believe we've heard of, if they've got a tenant set or anything for the fast food piece of it, or the kitchen. But yeah, Extra Mile would be the convenience store, and the Chevron would be the fueling component.
okay, so they're going to be using the Chevron blue,
Yeah,
and then they're going to be using the brown and grays for
Yep,
the extra.
absolutely.
Okay,
And I think that setup is, I don't know if the colors are the same, but the Chevron located in town on 162 and Wood Street, I believe is an Extra Mile. Well, not a
Yeah.
commercial fueling station, but,
Yeah.
but yeah, that same brand.
okay.
Okay. Any other questions from the commission? Anybody from the audience would like to make a comment? Okay. There is no one from the audience. Of public hearing is closing at 6:23. We need a motion and a second, please. Don't both of you speak at once.
Sorry. I motion for us to pass the merger of the lots and of parcel A and B. And move the design review as approved,
As presented.
as presented, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I second.
Okay, Christina has made the motion and Michael has seconded. Any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion carries. Thank you. All right, moving right along, discussion and action calendar. All matters on the discussion and action calendar will be discussed and acted on individually. Individuals wishing to speak on these items are asked to complete a speaker card and submit it to the city clerk. Comments should be directed to the chair and commissioners and are limited to 3 minutes. By law, the commission cannot discuss or take action on items not listed on the posted agenda. 7A, which is on the posted agenda, is the wayfinding sign design review. Review and approve with or without modifications the Welcome to Willows wayfinding sign design prepared by Signco and the classic antique poles.
Good evening again, Commissioners. Joe Betancourt, Community Development Services Director. So before you, I'll do a little history on this item, especially with Commissioner McNeil coming on board. So in July, the City Council authorized staff to move forward with wayfinding signs and requested that the Planning Commission have input on this design. In September and then again in October, the commission reviewed initial mock-ups provided by staff and gave direction to refine the original concept and more than refine to get it on kind of a how big is this going to be with realistic numbers that can be read from a 35-mile-an-hour zone. Since then, staff has worked with a local company, Signco, to refine the wayfinding design. When we sent over the original design, which is attachment 3, we did ask if he had any input or to kind of give you a new look at the tree symbol, and then they also adjusted the gold kind of swoosh at the bottom of Welcome to Willows and enlarged the Welcome to Willow sign. So I'm kind of specifically looking for feedback in 2 areas here. The design details of if the commission prefers to stay with the original design, or if they like the modified design, or if they like a combination of both. And then the second would be to examine the scale and height of that. I do want to add that I missed that a committee was formed that helped with the design and provide this original design before it went to Signco. And that commission consisted of Commissioner Nygaard and Commissioner Quorum, and our Planning Commission liaison from the City Council, Lori Pride, and Colleen from the Chamber of Commerce, and downtown business owner Holly Myers. So they came up with this, the original design, passed it to us, and then we went to Signco and came back with this. So I think first, if we could start with design details on what the preference is with the commission. And then again, I want to examine the scale and height of this. The antique poles that I had in the staff report are 14 feet tall. The sign at the current design is 5 feet tall by 3 feet wide. And I think a 14-foot pole kind of overdoes it. We normally aim for a 6 to 7 foot ground clearance on a stop sign or other street signs. That can be achieved with a 12-foot pole. So I'd like to reduce that. That is one direction that's not in the report that I'd like to go with. And luckily with the financing and the way that it worked out, we are able to purchase the antique signs. The antique poles, which are very nice looking. They basically slide over an existing pole. They're 4 inches in diameter. They come with a base and a top, and we've got those in the attachment as well. That would be attachment 2. Obviously, we won't have that sign attached to it, but you kind of get the design of the pole. And in the staff report, we do mention the amount of funding that will be available afterwards. The poles that I spec'd do come out of Texas. It was hard to find something local, but for 6 poles, that cost was approximately $1,000 in shipping. So we will look to go find somewhere that we don't have to ship them out here and save on that shipping cost. And the goal is to open up more funding to replace our downtown historic downtown signs with a new revised image, very similar to this, and then be able to replace some historic 99 signs as well. So as doesn't often work out in government, the funding was ample and enough to provide this. So with that, I'll open it up for discussion regarding design details and the scale and the height. Want to add something, Lori?
So Lori Pride, liaison from the City Council and a member of the committee. So when we got the mock-up that our local Signco vendor did, I ran it by most of the committee. Commissioner Nygaard, I wasn't able to track her down. And really the consensus was when you look at your attachment 1, that the top part of what Signco did for us, the committee really didn't care for that as much as we liked our original design. In talking with staff, the reason that the tree was kind of put below the Welcome to Willows was because he was trying to make this sign for 35-mile-per-hour visibility for our Tehama Street and Wood Street signs. I really think, and in talking with staff, The committee would like to go back to attachment 3 design for the top of the sign, even if the top had to be scaled down a little bit in size. We want people to be able to read the directional part at 35 miles an hour, but we didn't think it was as critical that they see the welcome to Willows and the oak tree as large of print. And then when we get to our more interior wayfinding signs that you're not seeing in the packet tonight, we didn't get those proofs back yet.
Correct.
But we'll have a little bit smaller signs on Lassen Street pointing folks downtown. We'll have them when pointing to the museum. Those are going to be a smaller sign.
The
and
museums will be
to
very small, singular ones.
Yeah.
But yes, the other ones will be larger, but not as large.
So in talking to staff, if the planning commission is favorable, we could continue to move forward, but suggest we go back to Sign Co. and stick with our original attachment 3, top of the sign. That's kind of what we'd like discussed with the full planning commission tonight, is just let you know that the feedback I got on the tree in attachment 1 was they felt like it looked like it was kind of trying to hold up the weight of the world, being blown over or something, and it just didn't seem to flow as well.
Well, I actually like the attachment 1 design. I don't know, it gives it more of a visual. I don't know.
It kind of looks like a Disney character to me.
And this is, you know,
Animations.
the opinions of the design.
Christina, do you have other comments?
That's
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
absolutely.
feedback from
No,
the
it just,
Yep.
no, I guess that attachment 1, the tree, even though it's weird thing, but it actually makes kind of catch your eye when you're looking at it. Like I was driving by, I think that would actually catch my eye to the sign instead of this other tree on attachment. That's just personal. And I actually do like how this looks bigger, where you don't have to strain your eyes to drive by and see it.
Michael?
Yeah, I will say that the tree in attachment 1 does evoke more of a willow tree, which it doesn't necessarily have to correlate with the name willows. While the other tree, it looks more generic in my opinion. But I do recognize that that whimsical, kind of fanciful look that we're getting from the tree in attachment.
And, you know, there are options. We to work with the committee if the planning commission chooses to stick with the, I'll use the word, a frame of the unwhimsical tree in attachment 3, but maybe add the smaller leaf kind of willow look to it. So, I mean, we're open to those ideas. I can see both. I'm no design person. I can definitely see both sides of all of it. But we do have that kind of.
And I think I appreciate the comments. And I think part of the other thing in the attachment 1, bringing the tree, whatever the tree looks like, up as it is in attachment 3, so it's next to it, and keeping the bigger swoosh. It just sort of delineated it more. Again, that was some of the committee feedback. So the tree, I agree, more delineated leaves, a little more willow tree looking. I think it was the format of it, kind of the layout in attachment 1 that didn't seem to flow as well as attachment 3. Just keeping the top of the sign. And really, these are wayfinding signs. So whatever we come up with, I mean, we want people to find the parks, Veterans Hall, and whatnot. So the top is on these fast-paced signs isn't as much, but we do want to keep in mind that the intent is that they're going to be on smaller signs, wayfinding signs throughout the interior of the downtown. We're also hoping to take this design, put it on the historical little parking signs we have downtown, and also include it in the banners that we currently have downtown. So at the top where they say, "Welcome to Willows," we're going to start trying to include the same thing. So we're going to, whatever we decide on, we just want to make sure that we're thoughtful about it now that we're this close and that we all like it. So that, because it's going to become something that we're going to try and use throughout multiple things for some continuity. So keep in mind what it's going to kind of look like.
Yeah, I like the non-Swiss swish tree. I just don't care for that blowing in the wind tree. But the other one, it's, it is not sharp in its image, not as sharp as the other one.
What if we swished tree, and made it sit up a little bit straighter, but have the more delineated leaves?
Yes, I would agree.
Combination.
My other comment, and Lori, um, it's disagreed with you. I like the smaller gold thing than the larger one because you want people to see the sign, not the gold particularly. It's just that that gold is there just to highlight what you have. At least that's my thinking. In fact, I think something must have gone wrong with the printing because this one is much sharper all the way around than this one.
It's so I think it's probably just the software being used, as this one was done by the committee and this one was done by a professional at Signco. So
This one was done by the professional?
yes, yeah.
Okay.
So that's why the image is, it's just a higher resolution. So
Yes, it is.
yep.
And that's what you want on your sign.
Oh, yeah, no, the resolution won't be.
You don't want it blurry.
No, we wouldn't
Right.
have that.
The other one was done on our personal computer, so we didn't have the same quality of software. So it was more, here's the look we want, and then it's
Okay.
been fine tuned with some changes.
Regardless of this, yeah, the style changes. It will not be pixelated. It will have the clarity of attachment number one, regardless of what design it is.
Okay. Well, it's just good to be aware of what we're talking about.
Yep.
So is it your intention to update the sign and bring it back for more input?
No, my intention would be is to come to a consensus on what to move forward with, and then work with the committee to develop final touches without making drastic changes to it based on the direction provided by you for the design piece.
Okay.
And then if we get through the design, I would like to just take a separate moment to get clear clarification on sign, but I think we deal with the design pieces of it first. And just to go back here, kind of what I was hearing from Commissioner Corum was, going with the posture of the tree in attachment 3, but making it more of a willow style in the leaves. And he liked the gold line on attachment 1 and position of the tree to be similar to attachment 3.
Okay.
That's so I'm just open to any other comments, or like I said,
Are you going to be able to get the 12-foot poles?
yes. Well, they
Okay.
offer them in various sizes.
Now, will these also have street signs on them?
No.
Okay. I saw some new street signs up, which I commend you highly for,
Thank you.
because some of them have gotten so worn you can't even see the name of the street. But what I really liked is they were bigger than the old ones. And when you're going 35 miles an hour, you don't have time to,
Yeah.
I have turned around so many times to go back to see the street sign.
Yep.
So those larger ones are really good.
Thank you. And we intentionally went with an 8-inch lettering with the Wood Street and Tehama Street signs on a larger lettering. Larger font, I think 8-inch, and 6-inch on the regular one. So we intentionally made those higher speed limit signs more visible. And the white border, yeah, they came out really good. As I said, I'm not a designer, so I kind of sent stuff out. I was very happy with the way those
Well,
came back.
Yeah, design wise, they're very pleasing
Yes.
to look at. And I know Wood Street's important, but I wish we could do some other major streets like Laurel.
Yep.
Or Green Street and have a replacement.
Yep.
Policy to get to all of the various streets in town.
Well, and I'll add to that because our city council here did approve the purchase of all the street signs. So we actually do have them all in stock right now. And we will be working, we wanted it a top priority to get Wood Street and Tehama Street done. But we will be working in zones to replace everyone throughout the town. as long as
Okay.
my math was right, which always we might be off one or two, but we do have that in line. And as crews get time and get through a little bit of the rainy season, you should start seeing those sweeping across. So it was great to get that for approved funding. That was also part of the item for this wayfinding sign. We approved that as a package to do the street name signs, the wayfinding signs, and then the LED stop signs at Road 57. So yes, definitely appreciate that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Any comments on the design that, I mean, agreements on going with those, or did the other commissioners want to add anything of their likes or dislikes or recap anything on the design?
Yeah, going back to attachment 3, I do like how it's more all on one plane instead of tiered like it is on attachment 1. It would be nice if there would be an opportunity to just see a couple of the different tree designs that changes that might be presented here in the future that we could see in the attachment 3 style. And I'm also not opposed to that thicker delineation between the Welcome to Willows and then the pointers. Yeah, so that would be my comment.
Was your preference, sorry, for the gold piece of attachment 1 or attachment 3?
I'd like to see what they could do with just what the design company Senko would do with a larger banner and see how their take would be on it. A little bit larger gold bar.
Okay.
So the larger one, like in attachment 3, but see what it would look like.
Yeah,
with theirs.
just
Do you like it attached to the tree or separate?
I say attached. It kind of looks like it's on land because it's gold, almost like if it was.
I like it attached.
So if we move the tree up so it's more straight across, then we just have to maybe play around with how it came off the tree, flowed back under a little bit, but let's play with that maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, we, I think we can get opinions on it through the committees. Plus, we need to see the other signs for the museum and how they're built out. So we can, send those out for opinions, or we can.
And would it be, I mean, our next meeting's not that far. Well, are we going to have an early January meeting or probably not?
It just depends on if we want to. It would be you three again at that meeting, regardless of what we do.
Bobby,
But yes, sorry, you are correct, and not Christina. We would have 3, so it would be different, or we can push that meeting back.
just anyway, I'm just thinking if there's enough different, comments wanting to see something different.
Yeah.
If another month is going to matter in terms of getting these heard.
I don't think it. I mean, it's if you guys want to come back and we can work these over and bring those other signs there, we can definitely do that. That is at your discretion.
I'd appreciate it.
Yeah. It took a little bit longer and people were on vacation. So it took me a little bit to get them the design to get going on it. So we were hoping to have a little more for you. And I think getting this next level feedback of a little, blending of the two and coming up with the remainder of how these signs will look. And we'll try to come with something that's cohesive, but I will come back with kind of hopefully a couple variations for you that we can hit one or do a final consensus on. And I do want to talk about the size of the poles. So basically, by my calculated measurements, that table that Mr. Ross is sitting out there would be the size of the sign, the tabletop. So that is a 5 foot tall, 3 feet wide sign. So it will be a very large sign, and that would be the max like we talked about for Wood Street. So we can go with a 3 foot wide, 4 foot long signs on the other streets. But I definitely would say, I tried to get a kind of a look that showed that in ChatGPT or my Copilot that gave us a real dimensional look at it. Didn't quite come out so well. But it will be a very, very large sign, but we have right of way to where, and if we can get it that tall, we'll still get our 6 or 7 foot clearance. So if you guys are good with going with the 12 foot sign, hopefully I can have a better diagram or mock-ups showing the sign relation to the sign pole to the ground and how that'll look in reality. Back and discuss. Well,
Well, I have to tell you, at first I thought dining was misspelled. And I thought, we can't have a misspelled word, but I looked it up and dining just has one in.
and
Stinning.
so yeah, we'll go back, and the other benefit is we'll have two clear mock-ups from
Okay.
Signco.
Are you both satisfied?
I am, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Round 3.
We'll stop on that one and we'll go down to comments and reports, commission comments and reports, and staff comments and report. Commissioners, do you have anything that you would like to report or ask or say?
I do not.
No, I
Okay. My only thing is, I would like to inquire about the manufactured home that's on Lassen Street, just off of Wood Street, that's been there for over a year, maybe 2, to see what progress is happening.
Yes, absolutely. So it has been over 2 because I've been over here more than 2 now, and it's been sitting there. So we have reached out. The son of the owner made contact with us after various attempts to get the project rolling. Their plans were finally approved for it. We were hoping for some motion on the project after that. They still need to file their encroachment permit and a couple other things. And again, that's kind of fell off. We had contact with the son, which was the first contact we had with him, stating that the father was out of town working on another development and that he would pick that project up. So communication has not been great. We're at the point where we've reached out to him again and haven't got a response. So we are going to attempt to set up a meeting with him and let him know that we'll be moving forward with basically a nuisance code violation. If progress isn't made at this point, it's been a long time without progress. I believe their conditional use permit is expired and their building permits are expired as well. So we'll be actively pursuing that as a code enforcement complaint in the near future.
Is it legal for us to say to the applicant that if something's not done in 60 days, they have to come back to the planning commission?
Yeah, so with the conditional use being expired, they would need to do that regardless, because it's been a year and no progress has been made. And the building permit would have to be refiled again. So honestly, his first step to doing anything would be getting on the planning commission and getting those conditional use permits made. I think if that does happen and we're able to get that, it would be the recommendation of staff that we put in the conditions of approval for some not stringent, but realistic timelines on accomplishing and steps of review through that process so we don't end up in the situation.
So
Second time.
you will check to see if they can come and it be on our January planning commission?
Absolutely. Yep, we can do
Okay.
it. And it should be, I mean, honestly, decently straightforward as we've been through it once, but with new conditions that have the contingency that if progress isn't made, that this will be moving forward as a
Yeah.
abatement
You
issue.
know, you have a whole, well, I don't know how totally different, 3 new people at least on the planning commission. Maybe all
Yeah.
5 are new since that was,
Oh, absolutely. And I'm just coming from the staff writing report side of it, the perspective of, the conditions of approval. We've been through it. We've been through it once, and now we actually have approved plans to go through it again. So the documentation recreation is always easier than reinventing. But like I said, the recommendation with that point would be to set some pretty stringent timelines so that we can guarantee that it keeps moving, or it will turn into a code violation if it doesn't make progress. But we'll see if we can't get a hold of that. First step would be getting a hold of him, getting that commission set, and that may be hopefully achievable in January. If not, I'll report back with where we're at on the code enforcement side of it.
okay. Well, we need to do something and get on it. It's been way too long. And in some ways, it's almost like a hazard because it's just sitting there. And I'm surprised it hasn't been vandalized. It may have been, I don't know, but um, they've got an investment there that I'm sure they would like to move it along too. I sure hope so.
Yes.
Okay, any other comments or questions to staff? Staff, do you have anything else to say?
I would just like to welcome Mr. McNeil. Great introduction. Glad to have you on board. The only other thing I have to bring up, and this is just an advertisement here. We have seats coming up at the end of this year. One will be Chair Brott's seat coming up and Commissioner Ocampos. I want to thank both of you guys for your service, and hopefully we'll get applications from you guys and we can, continue to have you on the commission. To everybody else out there that wants to be a part of the Planning Commission, our application is available online. You can download it and turn it into the city clerk at 201 North Lassen. And the final filing date of that will be December 29th at 5 p.m. Once we have applications received, we'll go through a review process with our ad hoc committee and an interview process, most likely. And then we'll be having a recommendation for new planning commissioners or planning commissioners coming back. Whichever way that goes at I believe the January 13th, the first city council meeting in January. So I just want to get that out there, and we welcome everybody to apply. And I hope our current commissioners apply again as well.
Well, Christina, we hope you'll apply quickly.
Yes, I do plan to apply, but I'm going out of the country, Mexico vacation, and I won't be back until January 6th. So technically the 7th.
Okay.
That's when I'll be back. But I leave as soon as school is out, which
Okay.
is the 19th. I'm out too.
There we go.
Well, you got a few days in between.
Wait, yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
So I mean, yeah, I'll apply, but I won't be here for whatever process.
Yeah, we can accommodate.
Okay.
Sure. So we
Just
can
give her a
discuss that.
copy of her old one and she can
I was
put
gonna
the dates on it.
Cross the date out. I do want to add one more thing that our liaison Pride reminded me of. We have a big event coming up on Thursday at 5:30 at the ARC Center. We will be reviewing our chapter Title 18 Municipal Code, which relates to planning and zoning. So we'd like to invite the public to come on out. Harrison Associates will be doing a charrette style presentation, and we'll be asking for a lot of input from the community. We would love our commissioners there as well. And we'll be looking at everything from zoning, land use designations, how we define businesses within those zones that are allowed to operate, conditional use permits. Like we went over chapter 18 with you before, kind of went through all those code sections. This is kind of the first step of this public input process. So we'd like to invite everyone to come out. Again, that's at the ARC Center, that 222 Tehama Street, I believe. And we'll be doing by Ace Hardware. Yes, on the backside of Ace Hardware next to Willis Pharmacy. And we really do hope to see a good amount of public there because we want, our community to shape how they want to see businesses grow and where they can grow and what's allowed in these districts. So
And you said it was on the 18th?
no, sorry, this Thursday.
Oh, this Thursday.
Yes. Just the
Well,
full-
you also have another event on Thursday morning at 11:30.
Yes, we do. We've got our wastewater lift station ribbon cutting ceremony. That will be held at the Sycamore Lift Station, which is on Sycamore Street. It'd be just to the west of the hospital, I guess would be the best way. West of Villa Street. And it's located right there on the north side of the road. This is part of it's a ribbon cutting ceremony. We upgraded all 5 of our sewer lift stations from a bond that we received. So it was, I think, a $1.7 million project that we completed. And those aren't the most attractive projects, but it really, the whole purpose of those things is to move the waste out to the wastewater treatment plant and get it pumped out there. They're also equipped with a new SCADA system, which allows us to monitor the inflow and outflow, help us pick up rain detection, and make it safer for our workers to access and clean out. So they are a vital part of our sewer system. So not something super visible, but something that we're proud to get done, and it is a great infrastructure improvement for the city of Willows.
Okay,
That's all I have.
you sure?
That is it.
Okay, meeting adjourned.